Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. In this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Dristhi IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to share your important feedback in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session today.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from Business Standard published on 9th of October 2020. The title of today's editorial is Trouble in the Air. If we summarize our editorial, we can see that there is no viable solution in sight for the problem of stubble burning, which is quite prevalent in various regions of Haryana, Punjab and Western Uttar Pradesh. If we try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS paper 3, which has technology, environment, biodiversity, etc. Some key points of today's editorial. The higher incidence of crop residue burning in northern states is a matter of particular concern this year. See, the problem of crop residue burning, especially in northern states, it can be a cause of concern this year because we right now are already going through a public health crisis. Because of this crop residue burning, there will be a spike in air pollution which can definitely worsen the situation. Though typically these fires are noticed during the peak paddy harvesting season from mid-October to November end, generally this process of stubble burning takes place from mid-October to November end, but this year it has begun in the month of September itself and has increased menacingly in states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Delhi, etc. And we have to take proper action in order to curb this practice. Now, it should be noted that there is one fact here. Now, this crop residue burning was initially quite prevalent in the regions of Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. But it has been noticed in the last 4 or 5 years. If I'm talking with respect to Uttar Pradesh, especially in the regions of Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Ghazipur district, and there are 2 areas. Number 1 is Zamania and number 2 is Chandoli. Now these 2 areas have also suddenly increased the stubble burning process there. Okay, so these fires have been estimated to cause between 30 to 45% surge in winter air pollution in the NCR and its adjoining areas in the past few years. See the impact of the stubble burning. The impact of these fires is so high that they actually amount for around 30 to 45% increase in the air pollution in the regions of NCR and adjoining areas. You can see how dangerous these fires actually are. Now, before we go ahead, it is quite important for us that we should actually understand what exactly the issue is. So, crop residue burning, like I said, is a common practice performed by the farmers. Once the harvesting season is over, harvesting is done, whatever residue, whatever remains are left on the field, the farmers, they actually prefer lighting it. Sadly, the stubble fire related component of the air pollution plans broached by most of these states and deliberated in their joint meeting with Centre last week do not inspire much confidence. Now, there was a meeting between Centre and these states, but nothing significant could actually come out. The central government, it has already taken an initiative known as National Policy for Management of Crop Residues, NPMCR. Now, it was actually formed in the year 2014 and the results of this policy are so good that it has helped the farmers to make their soil more fertile, and it has resulted in profits of around 2000 rupees per hectare. Now, some of the important objectives of the NPMCR are like: number one, it actually controls the burning of crop residue so that environmental degradation can be controlled, and also the loss of soil nutrients and minerals that takes place because of stubble burning, it can also be stopped. Another very important role which is performed by NPMCR is that it helps in formulating some suitable laws and legislative policy in order to curb burning of crop residues. Then it also helps in making people aware about the ill effects of crop residue burning. And at last, this policy also helps, and the people associated with this policy, they actually let other people know about the diversified use of crop residues for various purposes, such as charcoal gasification, or it can be used for power generation as industrial raw material, for production of bioethanol, or you can say packing material, composting, mushroom cultivation, etc. So these are some of the objectives of the national policy for management of crop residues. The basic approach to countering this menace remains more or less the same as has been tried out in the past with only limited success. See, government of these states as well as the central government has been working very hard in order to curb this practice. But all the initiatives that have been taken so far have come only with a very limited success. No novel or out-of-box solution is on cards except experimenting with a new microbial biomass decomposer developed by the New Delhi-based Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Now, it should be noted that right now we don't have some very good solution for this problem. However, there is one decomposer which is developed by Indian Agricultural Research Institute, and that decomposer is known as microbial biomass decomposer. So the chances are quite high that experiments with reference to this decomposer might take place, and chances are quite high that it might yield some successful, some enthusiastic results. Now, the best property of this decomposer is that it can convert crop remnants into compost, thus obviating the need for torching it. Now, it should also be noted that the plus point of this decomposer is that the time taken for biodegradation of crop trash, if we talk about the total time taken for the biodegradation of the crop trash, it ranges between 30 to 40 days. But if we start using this microbial biomass decomposer, this biodegradation period can be reduced to only 20 to 25 days. Now we have to see that whether it is good enough for large scale purpose or not, the time will tell, and also what exactly will be the cost of this. This is one of the major concerns here. We have to focus upon the cost thing, because farmers, they are actually complaining about this thing. And see, there are various states which have imposed, and you should know that crop burning basically is a crime under section 188 of the Indian Penal Code, and also under the Air and Pollution Control Act of 1981. But the biggest problem here is the fines which are associated with this punishment, with this crime. They are comparatively much lesser than what exactly would be the cost in order to buy these decomposers or buy some other machines through which the entire residue can be removed. That's the reason people actually prefer burning the crop residue, because they are willing to pay the fines and it will be quite cheaper for them. Now, we are talking about crop residue burning. Now, apart from the environmental impact it has, there are various other impacts as well, which we will focus upon. And we should exactly know that what are the adverse effect of crop residue burning? So number one, if we speak that crop residue burning results in loss of nutrients of the soil. Now it is estimated that if 1 ton of rice straw is burnt, then it would account for 5.5 kg loss of nitrogen from the soil, 2.3 kg phosphorus loss, 25 kg of potassium, 1.2 kg of sulfur, and other than this, there will be a tremendous loss in the organic carbon as well. Now, if the crop residue is handled properly, then there can be various benefits with reference to this. See, various crops residues contain 80% of nitrogen, 25% of phosphorus, 50% of sulfur, and 20% of potassium. Now, if the crop residue is incorporated into the soil, it will definitely enhance the amount of carbon and nitrogen in the soil. So you can see the difference, how the burning of this stubble actually results in loss of various important nutrients. And if proper initiatives are taken, and if this residue is mixed with the soil, how the carbon and the nitrogen content of the soil can be increased. Then the crop residue burning has also a tremendous amount of impact on environment. Like I said, it results in emission of many greenhouse gases and other gases such as methane, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, and several other hydrocarbons. There are many pollutants which actually come into the atmosphere due to this stubble burning, and they are said to be carcinogenic agents. Carcinogenic, that means they are cancer causing. So when these carcinogens are out in the air, so definitely it could lead to various airborne and lung diseases as well. One more important problem which is associated with the crop residue burning is that frequent crop residue burning might lead to complete loss of microbial population of the soil, and it might also reduce level of nitrogen and carbon in the top 0 to 15 centimeter of the soil profile. Now this 0 to 15 centimeter of soil profile is very important for the crop root development. If it gets impacted, then definitely there will be a tremendous amount of impact on the crop yield as well. Now, the noteworthy point is that the harvested fields are set ablaze mainly to vacate them for sowing the next crop, mostly wheat, quickly and with least cost. The most important reason why the harvested fields are set to fire, because in order to make them ready for the next crop which is to be sowed in there. The problem is the time window available for this purpose is merely 20 to 30 days, just 20 to 30 days. Okay. And most of the eco-friendly means of managing paddy stubble are either cost intensive or time consuming. This problem is to be recognized here. The total time window, that means after the harvesting is done and the next crop is to be sown, the total time window between this duration is hardly between 20 to 30 days. And most of the eco-friendly means of managing this stubble, they are either extremely costly or they are time consuming. Like I said, the normal biodegradation, it takes around 30 to 40 days. So farmers prefer burning the crop residue on the field itself rather than using either of the above set techniques, that is by using machinery or by following the eco-friendly norm such as biodegradation. Now, straw burning, being quick and almost cost-free, has therefore become an economic compulsion for the farmers. Treating it as a punitive offense is the worst way to deal with it. We have to understand that why exactly farmers, they burn stubble. It is to be understood very clearly. Number one reason why farmers burn this stubble is, number one, the farmers, they are not efficiently equipped to deal with this crop residue waste. They don't know. They are not properly, efficiently equipped. And secondly, they cannot afford the technology because, like I said, the technology is quite expensive and they cannot afford that technology. So the last mean which is left with them is burn the residue. The fines mooted in the existing anti-pollution laws are mostly less than the cost of removing the stubble manually or mechanically. I told you, the fines which are associated with Section 188 of IPC or under Air and Pollution Control Act 1981, the fines are so less that people prefer paying the fine because it is cheaper as compared to that of removing the stubble either manually or mechanically. Now, what exactly is the solution? Now, one of the nice initiatives that have been taken in this particular issue is a mention of the state of Chhattisgarh. We have to see how exactly they have handled this entire situation. Now, in Chhattisgarh, they have started with a process of establishing Gothans, Gaothan, Gothans. Now, what exactly a Gothan is? Now, a Gothan is a 5-acre plot and it is generally held in common by every village. Now, what exactly happens in this 5-acre plot is that all the unused stubble is collected through a method known as parali, because stubble in Hindi is known as parali. So the entire unused stubble is collected through parali dan, and later on this entire stubble is mixed with cow dung and several other enzymes, and it is converted into organic fertilizers. The initiative which the state has taken is that state actually gives subsidy for the transportation of this stubble from one particular village to these Gothans. This initiative has actually increased a rate of employment among the rural youths. And also it should be noted that as of now, there are more than 1800 Gothans in the state of Chhattisgarh. So this is one of the strategies that are followed by the state government of Chhattisgarh. Some solutions that we too have to focus upon. Number one, the solution therefore lies in transforming this biomass into an economic good that can yield income for the farmers. One way to do so is to promote its use as feedstock or fuel for power plants and other industries. Now, we have to see that the only solution we have for this problem is that this entire biomass is to be converted into some economic good. Unless the farmers are told the benefits they can earn from this particular stubble, this initiative will not take place. So we have to promote the use of this stubble as, you can say, feedstock, or you can say it can be used as fuel for various power plants and industries. Also, government should take initiative in promoting various ideas under various schemes for different diversified use of crop residue. This crop residue can also be helpful in the production of ethanol. Also, the crop residue use can be taken to the packing industry. Packing material can be made from this crop residue. Also, government should take this initiative and government should provide some kind of subsidy on the transportation of this stubble from an area to a particular fooder deficient area, because this stubble can be used as a fooder for animals as well. So if the transportation is being used, the government should come up with some subsidy for the transportation of this stubble to a fooder deficient area. Okay. Some public and private sector companies, including NTPC, are procuring crop residues for use as fuel, thus converting this waste into wealth. Some startups and entrepreneurs interested in collecting, processing, and selling the crop residues should get environment backing and hand holding. Now, government should actually motivate startups and entrepreneurs, and they should actually help these initiatives so that this problem can be curbed. Some states, including Punjab, have mooted paying a premium on the minimum support price. Now, they have taken this step. What happens in Punjab is, if the farmers, they do not torch the crop residue, then in that case, the government of Punjab have decided to pay a premium, an extra amount on the minimum support price for paddy. So this suggestion can definitely be considered, and it can be very fruitful if done in a proper manner. So this was with today's editorial. Now the question today: identify the issues relating to stubble burning. Mention how an effective policy planning can convert the crisis of stubble burning into an opportunity. Now this is the main question for today. Thank you very much.